Welcome into PM in the AM, except this time it's PIA in the AM, because you know what? You got stuck with the two of us. Last week I stuck Mike with Pat. This time Mike stuck me with Pat, the king of finger paints, the man himself, Pat Bernard. What's going on, Pat?
What's going on, buddy? How are you, sir?
Yeah,
Are you
I've had
are you
better days,
happy
but
hanging?
you know,
Yeah. Well, this time, listen. You've always had the N, but I don't think you had the P. Quite some time. So this could be a lot. It might
phrasing,
be a
my
more
friend,
painful.
phrasing.
It might be a more painful morning hanging out with me for 60 minutes alone. God bless Mike's but Mike's busy this morning. So everyone's wondering where he's at. He's working. Let's keep it a bean. He's working. He's working hard. The guy, he's like the Bugs Bunny to the network. He's doing a lot of work. So, but anyways, Mike,
He had,
I
and
mean
also he had a
Al.
hard time carrying that Penn State post game show yesterday, which anybody who's a Penn
Oh
State
my
fan,
gosh,
nearly a Penn State fan, would understand the horrific trials and tribulations of
yeah,
running a Penn State
yeah. He
game.
might be. He might be
So
getting his blood pressure checked somewhere. He definitely might have to get it checked in some high regards. But listen, Al, let's get into it. Mick Abel last night comes into South Philly with a vengeance. I don't know if this Phillies team just chalked as a scheduled loss. I don't know if they're taking this game seriously. But Mick Abel came here to handle business last night. 8 Ks, 1 walk, 2 hits in 6 innings. He was dynamic, and he thumped this Phillies lineup last night. Phillies lose 5-0. How do you take last night's loss?
yeah, sorry, my computer froze for a second there, but yes, I listen. I don't know. There's no good answer about last night. Was it just a cold night for the team? Was it what you asked? Are they looking past? Are they looking towards the future? Maybe they don't want that number one spot. Maybe they're okay taking the number two spot. I mean, I think that in lies a little bit of the question, because I know it's a conversation that we're going to get into. Is there a advantage, because do you want to take on the Dodgers and the winner of the Mets, or do you want to take, or Reds, or whoever it is that ends up fighting out for that final wild card spot, or do you want to take on the Padres or the Cubs? And I mean, listen, either way, you're gonna have to meet up with somebody at one point. But is there a plus minus to that? And is that playing a factor? I hope not. I hope you just play games. Maybe you don't have to put out your best, honestly, your best guys if you don't want to try to quote unquote win a game. But you know, let other guys. It just was Mick Abel coming in there with a vengeance. Here's a team that had nothing to lose, another team that had not much to lose. So you know what I mean?
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Like I said, like you mentioned, one team didn't have much to lose. The other team had a lot to lose. And like I said, it's one of those games. But the flip side of the coin, though, Al, I'm concerned about a certain pitcher in this lineup, and you saw him last night. Ranger Suarez didn't look good at all. Giving up again. Ranger Suarez last night, struggled real bad. Gave up 2 home runs, only 4 strikeouts, 9 hits. In his last 3 games, Al, Ranger Suarez has not been great. 24 hits, 11 strikeouts only. Are you concerned about Ranger moving into the postseason? Because I am, and I've said this plenty of times. I said it on Friday night. I said it last night. I'm going to tell you, I do not. I'm worried about this starting pitching staff heading into the postseason, because if the starting pitching staff puts you in an 0-4 hole or something like this, it's going to be tough for this offense to get you out of these kind of troubles. And that's what we've been relying on this, is the offense to bail you out of trouble. That's why they're here in moments like this. But all said and done, in baseball, the most important position is pitching, and you're going to need this decent starting pitching. Aaron Nola's velocity has been down. Lazaro has been up and down. even though he pitched a great game the other night, uh, Rangers scared. The only one I can rely on is the guy we're going to see today is in Christopher Suarez. So, am I overthinking this?
No, it's one time you're not overthinking. You're thinking just enough. There should be
And that
worry
hurts.
again. There should be worry against any aspect of this team. Listen, you lose a guy like Zach Wheeler, you're gonna you have to worry. Give Christopher Sanchez his flowers. I said this on Friday night. Give him his flowers because we have another guy who would be an ace on most league and most teams at this point in him. Other than that, everybody else has been very inconsistent. Aaron Nola had a good Friday night showing, which was good. Still gave up that one long ball. Aaron Nola secret sauce, if you call it that. Um, you know, and Noobs puts a good question here. Does it bode really well if you can't get runs with a 1 seed on the line? Noobs, the question is, are they trying to get to 1 seed? Or are they not worrying about the 1 seed? They're
Yeah.
taking on opponents. I mean, that's a question. But my question really is, can Ranger turn on that postseason switch? Can Luzardo turn on that postseason switch? Can Aaron Nola turn on that postseason switch? That's a lot of ifs. It's a lot of ifs going into it. So time will tell. But he actually asked another good question, statement. He's saying, I'm not trusting this team if they can't squeeze their ass cheeks. Calm down, Pat.
Mm.
They have hit tens this year, but we are not better start. We are not. Well, I'm sorry, but now we are into better starters and pens. Absolutely, Noobs, and that's a question. That is a big question going forward. Like, this team really is one of the best 7 through 9 inning hitters. And listen, they've done it against some good teams as well. Don't get me wrong, but when you're seeing a really good team from here on out, you're going to see a good team. You make it in the playoffs, you're a good team. I don't care if you slink in, which could be like today. So, set your clocks to 3:10 to kind of check in on the Reds, Brewers, and Mets, Marlins games because that's the time they go off. You're going to see a taste of playoff baseball right away because right now the Reds are in. The Reds are sitting in. If you want to look on, actually, I'm gonna do this. Let me do this for you guys.
Yeah, I mean, and while you're getting that up, it's not looking good for this squad. And like you said, we're kind of keeping our eyes on who makes it at the end of the day, whether it's going to be the Mets, the Reds, and so forth. Our eyes are going to be everywhere. Here we are looking at the playoff bracket.
As of right now, going into Sunday, it would be the Phillies taking on either the Reds or the Dodgers. And personally, if you said, "Hey Al, which matchup would you prefer to see the winner of?" Honestly, I kind of like the setup right now as it is. I know they should go for the 1 seed, and the 1 seed gives you that advantage coming the NLCS and in the AL or in the World Series and all that stuff. But you're gonna have to fight away and at home at one point, so you're gonna have to just deal with it.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, again, Reds, I'm not. If the Reds make it, I'm not scared of. If it's the Dodgers, I'm not scared of. It just like I said, I think the only biggest opponent in this postseason for the Phillies are themselves. Is the pitching staff? Can the pitching staff be sustainable? If the pitching staff is sustainable for you, if Noah could pitch like he did the other night, if Lazard could give you what he gave you the other day against the Marlins, and mind you, the Marlins were cooking up until that point with a 7-game winning streak. But if they can do what they've been doing, now we're in good hands here because you've seen it. We just not too long ago beat the Brewers in a series out there, mind you. So this Phillies team's biggest challenge is themselves. If they, like I said, if they can hold on and maintain a lead, and their pitching staff gives you decent. Like I said, I know Nola's velocity has been down. His fastball is only reaching like a 93 right now, which is not too bad, but it ain't great. He's got to be able to, just like I said, give you a little bit more of a heater and just get guys swinging.
Yeah, and here's the thing is, in baseball, I've said this a million times. I'm not a fan of the bye in baseball because here's the thing: you're gonna say, take the Reds for instance, the Reds or Mets, whoever wins that, right? Here's a team who had to literally claw their way into the playoffs. Now, both teams you could also look on the flip side of the coin, who have dropped opportunities to make this less frustrating for them. Correct?
Yes.
But you're going to have them who have to scrap. You're going to have them who have to play up until today, and then they're going to be playing in a couple days from now if they make it into the playoffs against a Dodgers team. So, if you have to look at it, you could see the Mets winning this more than the Reds, and the only reason is the Reds are going up against a Brewers team. And if I'm the Brewers, I'm playing them hard, and I'll tell you why. I don't want one of my divisional opponents in this playoff bracket that I might have to see at one point. Do you think the Brewers want to see the Reds somehow in the NLCS in a hot Reds team because they're that means they're hot now. Like we ran into that against the Mets last year. We sat there, we all kind of like, all right, the team will find itself, kind of a little cocky. And then they come against the Mets team listen, same scenario. They have a tiebreaker game against the Braves. Beat the Braves. Go in the wild card. Beat that team. Come to us and beat the brakes off of us. Just an embarrassment. It was an embarrassment. And they make the DS and CS. They had a good run there. Obviously didn't finish after that. But there's a difference between going up against a team that has to fight hard and feel it versus a team who already locked it up a couple weeks back, who's trying more now to lick wounds and get better, which is understandable. Like I'm not trying to say that they shouldn't do that, but there is a momentum shift at this point, and it's it's kind of like a bye week. I always hated bye week playing football myself in high school because I felt like if I was doing really well, it's like I almost had to reset myself.
Hey, listen, there's nothing wrong with resetting yourself at all. First of all, get to show identification. This is the PM and the AM show on It's Rat Sports. I know our network just started really, really early with the boys on the western side of the state with Steel City Sports doing their pregame show for the Steelers and Vikings. They are breaking down how Carson Wentz get attacked. But anyway, we are live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and our TikTok page, guys. Just again, if you're on any of those platforms, give a follow, give a like, tell your friends all about us. Now, getting back to this, conversation. First of all, what's the saying here with
He was saying, I'm not
Durant
trusting.
without JT.
Yeah.
I'm not trusting Durant without JT. Yeah. So listen,
and I agree with him because Durant, the last couple big hits that Durant gave up or even lost there, you could definitely see that he shook off some pitches or some calls that JT sent to him. And then the next thing you know, they're paying for it. So is he, I don't want to say tipping pitches, but is he doing things at the wrong moment that guys are starting to pick up on or starting to see? And that does make a difference.
Yeah. And it does make a big difference with pitches you're starting to see. Now, listen, like I said, though, going back, I just, here goes another thing, too, the Phillies could work on. And now you're getting Trey Turner back. How do you shake up this, how do you shake up? First of all, hold on. It's Rat Sports. Is that the mayor that's woken up?
I would say this is probably Matty B, yeah.
Yeah, he goes, the pitching staff has given you enough offense, given you enough all season. It's the effing offense. The Phillies are 7 for 81 with players in scoring position. A 124 about last 10 games. I'm not sure what sort of baseball Pat have you been watching? Now listen, Matt. I've been
Listen,
watching plenty of ball. Yes, is the players in scoring position a problem? Not scoring? Yes, absolutely. But Matt, the offense lately has bailed you out in the month of September than not. I mean, this team again. When Ty Walker puts you in the hole, the offense is there to get you out of trouble. So forth. I'm not sure if you've been watching what I've been watching, but no, it's the offense that's been getting this team out of trouble. Now, like you just said, the lack of scoring players and scoring position, that does hurt. And I'm not going to bail it. But here goes the bigger question. It's time to maybe you got again. Topper may have to juggle up and shake up the offense a little bit. Now you're getting Trey Turner back. I would put now if you get Turner, I would put Bader back down in the bottom part of the lineup. I would move Bryson Stott. I would even take a gamble on Brandon Marsh going up in the lineup, even though that sounds crazy and wacky. But he's definitely been one of your more consistent hitters. Bohm's obviously there, the middle of the pack hitter, and so forth.
listen. I don't know what Matty B's been watching from my shows and my conversation standpoint. I don't think I've disagreed with anything he said. Yes, what did I just say? This team has gotten cold. I mean, the team was like firing on all cylinders for a good portion of September, even a little bit into August. Hitting, it just seemed like always hitting in the most opportune times. Pitching was very solid. And listen, when you're hitting well, pitching is usually a little bit better, and vice versa. But usually the other way around more. But my point is, I agree with him. That's why I'm hoping this team is not getting cold at the wrong time, just like I said they did last year. And the same thing I think I just mentioned. They crossed their fingers and they hoped that they would just get better once they came back and the Mets came to Philly and all that stuff. I don't think he's paying attention. I think he's just listening or assuming. And we know what they say about when you assume something. Noobs say one thing I do like about Duran is very few walks throwing that hard. Absolutely. Here's Matty B again. As crowd, well, I'm very sorry, everyone. The Emporium must be open this morning. Sorry for the propaganda this morning. I don't know what propaganda he said. I just sat there and said everything I think I agreed with mostly what he said. I don't know. The man just likes to be combative. What can I tell you? If the Phils go anywhere, I truly believe Stott has been quietly playing the best baseball of his career. Will be front and center of it all with the big ABs. Listen, having him in the 9-hole, in my eyes, especially Nooms, has been one of the most beneficial things for the Phillies. And him hitting as well as he has been and just kind of finding himself again, because it took a good portion of the season for him to really find himself. I mean, a lot of people are about to pack his bags. But if Bryson Stott can give you those at-bats, take a lot of pitches from a hitter, he's not there always looking for, the big stroke or anything, just about getting the ball in the play. That can be very huge because you have a 9-hole hitter, then you go into your what I would imagine would be Trey Turner, and then maybe or Harrison Bader, I don't know, but I would imagine Trey Turner when he comes back, and I wonder what this lineup would look like. I venture to guess it would be Trey Turner, Harrison Bader, Bryce Harper, Kyle Schwarber. This is, I guess, what I would like to see. Kyle Schwarber, depending on who's probably the right-lefty matchup and who's hitting hotter at that point, either like a JT or a Brandon Marsh, Nick Castellanos maybe in there. I wonder how they're going to use him. That's going to be a real big question in the postseason. All the way down to, or not Nick Castellanos, Alec Boehm to Nick Castellanos to then your Bryson Stott. So that, if those guys start clicking, this could be a very dangerous team to go up against. But again, kind of like Matty pointed out, over the last 10 games, that offense hasn't been clicking. And has part of it been because they've been kind of between the injuries, having kind of like a different lineup almost every night, or are they just getting cold at the same time? It's just this team can do that.
No, and like I said, the way I look at this Phillies team, Like I said, they've been cold. They haven't put on much runs as of late.
I'll call you back.
But I would, like I said, the way I would shake up this offense, to me, again, I would move Bryson. And look, a lot of people might not want to move Bryson Stott because there's no pressure batting in the ninth hole as there are sending the tone of the game. And this is where you're getting the most production out of him. But still, if he's going to be able to bat this hot down there, he should be able to carry that over in the top part of the lineup. I need to set the tone early, knowing
Yeah,
that
but
I have substantial, pitching issues. I need to get to. I need to put runs on the board early.
I can see what you're saying that, but if you're one about risking, if a guy is doing well in that position, then that's a different story. And if you change him, you may change that, and then that becomes a null and void kind of conversation. But also, after the opening of the game, it doesn't matter if he could be leading off another inning. You know what I mean? Like that's all.
True.
That's all. So you could see him going Stott, and then Trey, and then Bader, or whoever the 1, 2, 3 of that would be. That plays a factor. Now here's Matty again. What is the major factor that this offense uses? In other words, how do they score home runs? Right? Does trying to hit home runs in the postseason lead to World Series championships? Again, if he watched my Friday night episode of the Titans final, I discussed about what happened earlier in that week when they had the 8 home runs in a single game. That is not going to happen in the postseason. And if it does, for whatever weird reason it does somehow happen, it's not happening every game. Okay? So my point to that is no, they can't rely solely on the home run. I think I've been very clear about that. That was a great, fun win to watch as a baseball fan from a singular game in one singular aspect on a non-playoff game. But sustainability, no, that is not there. No, I mean, listen, one pitcher has a bad game, or set of pitchers have a bad game. Could that happen once in the playoffs? Maybe. Will it likely happen? No. I mean, that's the thing is you can't go through your NLDS, NLCS to the World Series. That means 3 series to relying on the long ball. I mean, ask Arizona. Ask us how that went in 2023. Was it? It didn't bode well. So I don't think anybody's sitting there saying that. I don't think anybody thinks that is a sustainability. I think any half decent Phillies fan coming into this season knew that they couldn't rely on the home runs.
Yeah, so he's
and again, yeah, the homer. He's taking the homers. Again, you're not listening, Matty B. You're not listening. I'm putting this out there.
Yeah.
When did this team do well this year? When when it was a mixture of baseball, singles, doubles, extra base hits, and the home runs then came. That's what we want. I don't care if I ever see one home run from the Phillies team in the entire postseason, as long as it is the ball, bat to ball connection is happening. Then this team could be, and that could be. I feel like that can be more. How do you say infectious than home run hitting? I mean, because we see it all the time. This happens throughout Major League Baseball, but Phillies happens a lot with. We've seen a lot of times, like how many times you see like a guy hit like a big home run, right? And we saw a couple back-to-back home runs, or one back-to-back home run, or actually was it 3 back-to-back home runs in that 8 home run game? But rarely does it work out that way. How many times have you watched somebody come up and destroy the ball, like say Kyle Schwarber comes and hits a home run, or somebody just comes up and hits a home run, and then the guy behind him, they're just wailing away like, hey, this guy's giving up free home runs. And that's the problem I have with plate discipline, and I'm hoping that they are noticing that, maybe listening right now to the It's a Wrap Sports Network and the PM and the AM show, and they're sitting there going, maybe that guy in red's not wrong. Maybe we should, when we hit the home run, come up and it's not expecting to throw another lollipop down the middle of the plate.
Yeah, and here's another thing too. You just brought a good point, because when players are left in scoring position, whoever's batting in at that time will be over aggressive and just like you said, want to hit the long ball and want to hurting themselves more than helping out the team, because all at that point they just want to crush it. And now, I imagine, again, I don't know if that's on Kevin Long as the hitting coach, or that's just the players just getting into their heads and say, I must crush the ball here and now, and wind up, hurting themselves and doing themselves just playing smart, disciplined baseball at the plate. So I think that hurts them as well. Again, just like you said, I don't care as long as they could just hit up the middle, split the gaps. I don't care as long as that portion gets taken care of by this offense. And listen, JT hasn't been hitting the ball well, but again, we've always mentioned it. When one guy gets cold, someone else will step up. Like right now, they're one of the best players is Amondo Sosa, who's been playing lights out baseball for this team other than last night. He's been hit and he had a hat trick on Friday hitting home runs. He hit a home run last night. I mean, the guy's been sensational for you coming off the bench, being a plug and play guy. Yes, he's not an everyday baseman guy. This is why he's not an everyday player, but when he's called upon, he's hungry. He wants to make a name for himself. He's trying to get himself sustainable in an everyday player. He's just not. He comes in and he can make some noise for you. That's the kind of guy. But you need someone to constantly get hot. And if someone from the top part of the lineup is not getting hot, that's when Topper needs to make the adjustment. Hey, listen, maybe I'll move Bader. I'll move Bader down to the 8th spot. I'll bring Bryson Stott, who's been playing red hot at the bottom part of it. I got to bring him up. Like I said, you have to set the tone early because your pitching staff is not sustainable.
Yeah, well, here, Doom's saying Lou Trevino has been a very solid postseason pitcher. Yes, in the past, yes, he has been. I may ruffle some feathers with this one, but I would much rather see Trevino than a tight spot than Kerkering. Yeah, Trevino, local guy. He's a Bucks County guy, from what I remember. And he's been kind of up and down. He's had some postseason success in the past. He was a closer for the Athletics. He also played with the Yankees, and he pitched well in the postseason with the Yankees. Obviously, not the Athletics. I think more of it's not so much Trevino as much as it's Kerkering, because we've seen Kerkering in tight situations kind of butthole pucker a little bit when the time comes, and it has not been the greatest.
No, he's another one. He's an arm that you bite your nails, you tighten your sphincter every time he takes the hill. He is what he is. He's not a great pitcher to me. Coming out a closer again, I imagine. It's all going to be different. Obviously, you're going to have Taijuan Walker coming out of there, which scares me too. Again, coming out of the bullpen, everyone thinks he's going to be helpful, but there's a reason why. He hasn't sniffed the field in postseason time. He just sits there and eats peanuts. That's how much Rob Thompson doesn't have any faith in him. And that's scary to me because of why he's just a wasted roster spot at that point.
Yeah, and you think Trevino and Buehler both have the pedigree. Buehler is a question too. He has had success with his short time here with the Phillies. He's had previous success in the playoffs. As of last World Series, he threw the last out for the Dodgers for their World Series championship. So that is previous success. And are these guys that are going to help stabilize a bullpen, that kind of had some holes to fill? And I think they can be, because kind of like Matt said earlier, as we listen to Pat chew and crumble whatever the hell he's chewing upon right at this moment, I feel I'm more worried about the hitting, especially with runners in scoring position, than as much, because if they do their job, then pitching can kind of sit back a little bit. Here's Matt kind of agreeing with me, which is not something else. The pitching staff is sustainable. Come on, if you really think the postseason comes down to pitching, then we need to reevaluate your employment here, Pat. So my thing is, I'm more worried about the hitting being cold, because that's ultimately what hurt us. And then when the hitting's cold, then it puts a lot more pressure on the pitching, like Kirkering, like Duran. Like always putting them in these positions where one foul little mistake that they make is, they're pitching with a lot. They're pitching with a lot tighter window, and that makes things harder. Freddie Burns, what's up,
Wait,
Freddie?
hold on. Oh, the Fredster. Oh, what's up, buddy? No, I mean,
You do what
Matt,
every
go
time he
back to
takes the
Matt.
hill?
Yeah.
I don't even want to know what he's talking.
I know what he's referring to.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, he's. But going back to Matt's point here. No, how does the pitching sustainable right now, Matt? Tell me. I mean, do you really trust Nola? I mean, yes, he looked good the other night, but this is a Minnesota team that they should be thumping. Like I said, Suarez hasn't looked good. I just gave you his numbers. Ranger Suarez gave up 24 hits in his last three appearances, and only 11 strikeouts to show for it. You have Lazardo, who's been up and down. Can you really trust Lazardo? Yes, he's looked good against a Marlins team that came in here cooking. Yes, he took care of that. But where do you see the sustainability where you can trust this starting pitching staff? Where? I mean, I do not see it. Getting back to our man here, Kirkland's pitches is like squeezing his butt. Yes, and more. Yes, squeezing the cheeks. He needs a third pitcher, and right again, his sinker needs to be better. That's another thing too. Like his sinkers have not been the greatest, and I agree with you, Nooms. Now the elephant. Either Bryce Harper.
So Bryce Harper's
I
the big
think will
question.
turn it up. I think he's going to turn it up.
Oh, listen, you have to hope he is. I mean, that's where Matt goes. Like, here's my question: would you rather have some slight struggling with pitching, or strikes, or would you rather see some struggling with pitching or struggling with batting in the postseason? Like, would you rather have this team very hot hitters and lukewarm pitching, or lukewarm hitting and hot pitching?
I'd rather have hot pitching. I'd rather have a hot pitching. It's now being proven. You need it because if you have a lukewarm pitch hitting with this staff, it'll get you some W's. If you have a hot pitching staff that can lock down batters, with this hitting staff, you'll win games. You don't need to win 9-10 games you don't need to have 10 runs. If you have 3 to 4 runs sustainable over like a 1 run by the opposing team, you'll be fine.
Nooms feels he doesn't have Ranger earned the rights to trust him when the chips are down. I get it, but even it still doesn't mean you're going to sit pretty. I'm going to disagree with you because if you have a guy goes out and throws, a no-hitter, say, right? Or not no-hitter, just goes out there and throws 7 great innings, right? 6, 7 great innings, doesn't let up 1 hit. But if you don't score, it's a 0-0 game. There has to be something to allow you. And listen, I think guys who are struggling a little bit, like maybe like a Kirkring, guys like an Aaron Nola, or when Lazardo would have to pitch or anything like that, tell me they're not pitching with a little bit more confidence, a little more pep in their step if the guys behind them are hitting well and they're getting runs and allowing them to have a little breathing room. Because if you score 4 runs and you're Aaron Nola and you let up that 1 home run that you always know you're willing to get, there's probably going to happen at one point. Do you not feel a little bit more comfortable now when it's a 4 game versus a 1-0 game and you just pitched 6, 7 really good innings and all you have to show for it is a 1-0 deficit at this point?
Good point. Yeah, good point. And Nola is tend to have a snowball effect in his game. Nola, again, but his last snowball effect came late in the 6th inning against the Minnesota team where he only allowed 1 home. I mean, all that he was very effective, and that's another thing too. You don't want Nola to have a snowball effect early into a game because we've seen it it's not just one home run that leaves his hands. It's going to be a few that comes off him in free souvenirs. You don't want him to get shell shocked early. Matty B's also saying, "Oh, hold on, under 3 per game." What was that previous statement he made? Um,
Corn
Come on,
homers to give
homers,
you honest
give
take
us
on Harper since
honest takes.
2022. Harper is Philly's
No,
James
listen.
Franklin. I don't know about James
Oh,
Franklin. I'm not saying he's James,
now you're pushing
but
it.
no, but listen, Harper does need to prove himself a little bit more. I mean, I think I don't listen. I'm not sitting here telling you like in Harper I trust anymore, but Harper has had some key moments. The Padres game, Padres series to get us to the 2022 World Series. He's had moments, but as of lately, no. I mean, he hasn't. Number one, been healthy the whole time. Especially recently, he's been sick. So, I mean, the problem is when these guys get these little sicknesses or injuries and they have to come back come back. It's like they're kind of starting with a clean slate. It seems like they can't always just pick up, not all the time. So, I mean, I'm not trusting anybody until we're in a World Series and walking down Broad Street. You know what I mean? Like, I will trust them as the postseason comes on. I'm not going in there with my eyes closed, but I'm also not going in there. This team's going to get just the doors blown off. Could it happen? Sure, we saw it happen last year. But I look around to bring this back up for a second. Let's look at this. Say this is how this ends up, right, Pat? Let's look at this. Looking at the AL and the NL, if this is how it ends up in the NL, if the team is playing to what we know they can play, even with sans Zach Wheeler, if the offense is clicking and the pitching is doing a decent job at best, or at least, I should say not at best, at least, is there a team in this NL that scares you beyond belief? And not just because we had success earlier in the season against them or not. Is there anybody in all of baseball that you feel like it could just run away with this whole thing?
To me, it's only the Brewers. The Brewers, the only team, like I said, they average four runs a game, and they're the only team that scares me with this starting pitching staff.
Yeah, well, listen, and again, kind of going back to what Matty B's saying, I get it. I don't think the Harper deal will go down as the worst signing in Phillies history. I don't think so. I mean, the problem is the expectation when you sign a guy like Bryce Harper. It's real simple. Is you sign a guy like Bryce Harper, and you expect World Series. You expect multiple World Series. You know what I mean? And at this point, I think part of us is sitting there going in the back of your head going, give me a World Series and we'll go from there at this point. You know what I mean? I said before, this team, win or lose, if they win the World Series or lose, or they don't go to the World Series and they have to reset for next year, this team's going to have to make some drastic changes. It's going to have to make changes. It's going to have to get rid of some guys. It's going to have to make some big decisions on your Kyle Schwarbers, things along those lines. So that will play some factors here moving forward as Matt's saying, the worst signing in Phillies history. But as he gets older and we're not winning a World Series, we've had success since 2022, but not full success. We've been a successful franchise, but not the success that we're looking to get. And that's where it is. And I really think this team, with the way the MLB is set up, the way these NL and AL teams right now, there's nobody that scares me that I think the Phillies would just not match up well against, to the point that they're just going to get thumped. And I believe that should go around the league with anybody. The Brewers have not been as hot as of they have lately. So are they cooling off a little bit at the right time? They have any chance to put Cincinnati away. I mean, my point is, I'm not super scared of any team at this point, and this is the best time for a team like the Phillies to pounce.
And I'm with you. So the team, like I said, has there been, we known, you, me, Matty B, the whole entire fan base is known. Like, we went through plenty of summers where there's a dead baseball team. It's been horrible. We've seen it, but how in the same sense, we've had great pitching. I mean, we've had, the last 4 years has been great baseball, has been entertaining baseball. And now, like you said, you sign the big names like Bryce Harper, you sign the names like Trey Turner, you sign names like Kyle Schwarber, and you expect multiple, not just one, but multiple, World Series. And now we're at the point where if we could just finish the story with just one, I think it would, please a lot of people because, again, when we go back 10 years from now and we look at this era of baseball, we're going to say it was good, but the '08 team, the Charlie Manuel team, is always going to be the top tier because they closed out the story with the guys that they had instead of the guys that we have now and not closing it. So it's always going to be that playoff team. And couple other things before I get back, because we're going to switch up and talk a little Eagles football. Again, we are on the It's a Wrap Sports network here, PM the Aim Show. You can catch it Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, and we are up to 118 likes right now on our TikTok page. Again, guys, appreciate the like, love, and follow. Again, if you like our content, we're everywhere. But again, Al, again, and this is where I disagree. Matty B put up there World Series or no success. I disagree with that. Again, it's been an interesting no championships equal no success. And listen, that is the ultimate hindsight big picture. You have to get a World Series or it really does mean nothing. But again, this has been an interesting team. Again, bouncing back from where they were last year. This team's been leading the race for majority of the time. And yeah, the Mets were hot for a while. They cooled down, but the Phillies are still there. I mean, regardless of the pitching issues that they're having now, which scares me, their offense has carried them through.
Yeah, and listen, this is semantics right here. I don't want to hear this crap. They have been a successful team regular season, which isn't a championship. I agree with that. We get into this game. We watch 162 regular season games and pour our heart and soul into this team. But to say they're not success, it's either failure or success based on that. No, I'm saying is the ultimate goal is to win the championship. But they've had some success, but not the success we're looking for. That's just being bitter, Matty B, right there. But whatever. I have Freddie Freeman nightmares, but glad to have three good lefties to counter him. Listen, I'm not sitting there telling you that the Dodgers aren't a scary team, that the Brewers aren't a scary team, but I'm saying right now there isn't this is a wide open field for all the teams who make into the postseason. That any team can be super successful if they get hot and stay hot, and it's going to be that way. Any team with at least 4 effective left-handed relief pitchers scares me. It's funny. The new Philadelphia Championship mantra, it's all about entertainment. Here we go. To hell with trophy.
No.
Did somebody shit in this man's Cheerios this morning? Good Christ almighty, man. You know what? Good.
Oh my gosh.
Good night to you. Good morning, good night, whatever it is to you, sir.
Yes.
But listen, again, words in our mouth. The ultimate goal here is to win the championship. But we need to get to the playoffs to win the championship. I would love to see Matty B as like a guy who covers the Athletics or covers this.
Oh my God.
Covers the Pirates or the Rockies or anything like that. You'd be happy to be 500 at the end of the season. You know what I mean? Like,
would Matt be alive?
Oh well, no. I think he would just jump off a bridge and end it right there. But my point is, this team has had some success, not the ultimate success of what we're looking for. You know,
no,
he's here to stir the pot.
Yes, that's what he does best. Again, we paid for this offense that, yes, we have had great regular season play. It's time to pay off the story. And to me, like I said, if the pitching can get you there, I'm not worried about this offense. And I get it. Matt's worried because we don't score with players in scoring position, and that's a major concern. I'm not saying it's not. But we have also seen this team break out the lumber. How many times we've seen them thump a team where they put up almost 15 runs and won a game? I mean, they could do it. It's a snowball effect on the other side. I talked about the negativity of the pitching staff, but this offense doesn't just score.
Looks like Pat froze for a second. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to this. By Pat unfreezes there. The the Dodgers scare me. They had no prayer against their starters, which were yanked early in the last seasons. Agreed. And that's where the starting pitching, they have to hit better against. I mean, it's very simple. It's very simple. And they wouldn't pull like Otani as early as they did against them last time. So did they do that to preserve him? Did they do that because they saw that he could be kind of getting figured out? Whatever the reason is, I don't know. But again, it's all dependent on this team. If they want the success, they have to want this. They can't expect it to come to them. They can't expect it to, they can't expect it to just be given to them. I think Pat might be back. Let me check. Hold on 1 second. You there?
There I am. Yeah, I don't know what happened there.
Well, you gotta stop touching yourself. God knows.
No, so again, what I was saying, it's like I was before. I don't know what happened, but the Phillies' offense to me is like I said. There's the good and the bad, right? We talked about the negative, right? But the pitching gives up a bunch of run, but we also seen in a handful of games where this team can hurt you, a snowball effect in the good way where they could put up multiple runs. They could put up 12 to 15 runs a game. They can really thump a team with the way it's going. So I'm not worried about the offense. And like Matty B brought up a point where the Phillies don't score with players in scoring position. Yes, that's a major concern. Sometimes I think they overthink themselves. They tend to be very aggressive, trying to crush the long ball when just simply play small ball all around. It's just add in runs. If this team could do what they've been doing, that would help significantly. Now, Al, let's get ready to talk some Eagles. We have to get some Eagles conversation. It's Sunday. It's Eagles Tampa. Since Jalen Hurts pretty much took over for the Eagles, this Bucs team's had his number. For some reason, we don't look well against the Bucs for whatever reason. Al, last week, ugly start. Great finish for the Eagles. The Eagles looked really, really great. They flipped the switch. Jalen Hurts pretty much had nothing, next to nothing as far as stats, but also recorded. Let's see what I got for him. He's had 200 plus yards, 3 TDs, no interceptions. AJ Brown had had nothing, no 0 catches, no nothing, but yet finished out with 6 catches over 100 yards. And 1 TD. Now you're facing a Tampa Bay team without Mike Evans. How big is that going to be for the Birds?
Listen, there's a monkey on their back about Tampa Bay, about Todd Bowles and Jalen Hurts, and I don't look at people like I don't look at teams like, oh well, not having a weapon like Mike Evans is a big deal for any team. Just like if we didn't have AJ Brown, because we didn't have AJ Brown the last few times they saw Tampa Bay. All those questions are there, but it's a whole new season. This is a clean slate. I've been hearing a lot about the heat and how humid it's going to be and all that stuff. Man, just play the damn game. That's how I look at it. Play football. I think, can they win this game? Absolutely. I don't think there's any question in my mind that they could win this game. And did we see that turn, that corner, that switch from one half to the other against the Rams, where everything seemed preseason and sketchy? I mean, a lot of that came into because they put Matt Pryor in there for when Lane Johnson went down, and he struggled mightily. Once they put Fred Johnson in for Lane Johnson, things kind of stabilized better, and that was a big thing. So the O-line play has to be better, and I think we'll start to see that this week. Um, and I think Jalen and his crew are finding their groove again, and that's what it took. It was like a halftime to make the difference.
Yeah, and listen, just think about Birds need to take the AJ Brown man coverage when it's out there and not just force feeding the run. Last year, runner up running and set passing. Yeah, listen, the RPOs was great. Again, you seen the way that the Rams attacked this team. They stacked the box. They're taking Saquon Barkley out of the equation. It made Jalen Hurts have to throw. They had a great coverage, drop zone coverages. I mean, the Rams really did a number coming into South Philly in the first half, even a little bit in the second half, because for some odd reason, we dropped 5 kick return footballs. We dropped 5, not 1, not 2, but 5 kick return footballs that really hurt us. Again, the Eagles, but again, they found ways to win, and that's what matters. And now look at the boost of confidence. Like I said, despite the record against this Bucs team as of late, they're 9-9 versus the Bucs all time. Again, we know what we got to do with Baker. Baker, the playmaker. Last week he had 19 completions for 233 yards, all a TD. Bucky Irving had 25 carries for 66 yards. The rookie, what's his name? I don't want to butcher his name. He had 6 catches, 85 yards. Mike Evans, who had 4 catches, 33 yards, but he's not going to be a problem today. Sterling Shepard had 4 catches and 80 yards. Again, them not having Mike Evans out there, it could be a big, big plus for the Birds as far as, because the Eagles have been having problems in their secondary. So where do you see the Eagles winning today?
It's got to be in the trenches. I know it's kind of a cliche thing to say. It really does need to be in the trenches. The O line has to play well, giving time to help set up the run play, to help set up the passing play, and the defensive line. They still have a lot of, as you just mentioned, a lot of good offensive players, and Baker can squeak out some plays when you didn't think they're there available for him. So that was where the defensive line has to really put that pressure. And we got to see that Jordan Davis game, and I need to see Jalen Carter. I need to see Jalen Carter step up. He's been good and has had moments, but hasn't been great.
No, and again, I need to see this team come off the edges. Getting the Baker early, because we know he can scramble. He's been balling out for them down there. He's a player who flipped the switch from going to Cleveland to Tampa. Again, this team's all to a 3-0 team. Even though the Bucs can put up a lot of points, but their defense gives up a lot of points too. I mean, they're averaging giving up like 20 points a game, and that could come back to hurt them as well. And this is where the Eagles can take advantage if they could step up. Of course, we're not going to have Nakobe Smith with the Birds, the linebacker. Again, he's not going to be in there. So, again, they're going to have to figure out how to get the job done today. Play some, dropbacks, the 3-4 defenses. They're going to, come up. Vic Fangio is going to have to, design some better play calling on the defense end. But let me ask you to speak, because we're talking about play calling. Was it last week's win, Jalen Hurts saying, I'm making my play calling? Or, I mean, what? Because Kevin Patullo's play calling hasn't looked that sharp up until this point.
Again, we're not in the huddle. We're not in the locker room. For me to sit there and say what happened, I can't. What do I think happened? I think at halftime they said, hey, we need to take the training wheels off a little bit. And I think Jalen said to Kevin, like, we need to take the training wheels off. Can we open up the the RPOs? Can we open up some of the old playbook and stop trying to play it safe a little bit? I feel like that's what was happening, and happens to a young quarterback who just thinks, we have some good players who can really make things just happen, and needs to know that there's more to it than that. And then that's what we got. And I'm hoping that's what we continue. That's what I think happened. I can't, again, I'm not in the huddle. We're not in there. But do I think he just said, screw you, Kevin Patullo, I'm out? I doubt it much, but could it possibly?
No, again, just because the way I don't know what's flipped. I don't know what switch. I don't know if because a lot of people were concerned about Jalen Hurts not throwing the ball out, playing jobs, playing ball security, not turning the ball over as far as interceptions, but just holding the ball too long. And then last week they just made all the right adjustments where he's releasing the ball, where he's making the right throws, where where everything was going right. And the Rams play calling on the second half, again, now Sean McVay is now 1-6, 1-7 versus the Birds. And they got themselves in a little bit of a trouble. Again, where they should have been going for it in 4th-and-1 situations, then they were punting, and then they were screwing up. Again, like I said, there was a lot of trouble with that team moving forward. But again, however you want to cookie cut the way we broke down this win from the Birds, look at the confidence. Now this team has believed that no matter what happens, you have to put the Birds away for 4 quarters. There's going to be, like I said, a lot to be desired, and they're showing you why they're still Super Bowl champions.
Yeah, absolutely. And Noom saying here, it was actually called. They actually called some 3-level concepts in the second half with Hurts hitting an intermediate route, which doesn't happen often. That's encouraging to see. And maybe again, that's what needed to happen. They needed to take the training wheels off, and that's again kind of why I feel that's possibly what happened more than screw you, Kevin Patullo, you're out.
Right.
Students also say when you see the trips and a bunch to the one side with AJ Brown on the single side, you know exactly what the Birds are trying to do, right? Yes, they're trying to a little misdirection.
And speaking of, how about the Rams constantly going after Reed Blankenship last week? Just constantly throwing the ball his way as far as defending. Are you any concerned there too?
No, I mean I think that's more of a hot hand thing. To be honest with you.
Okay. Adam says the up tempo offense helped us win when we couldn't get nothing going. Yeah, and that helped out too. Again,
listen, you're giving the defense less chances to make substitutions, keep guys on the field. I like the up tempo, especially at moments it's like picking your poison, pick it at the right time, because it can hurt you as well if you do it too much. That's why you can't do it all the time. But I think the up tempo was beneficial.
Right, and Matty B's also checking as I'm wondering if this show is live or is it from 2023 with all this win stuff. No.
Who said wins a win? Like, seriously, he's like pulling stuff. And does he, Matty B, do you have
I think Matty B's from 2020.
Do you have your negative cue cards in your back pocket? All right, so I'm gonna let's see. It's like when you remember the game. What was it? Trivial Pursuit. Trivial Pursuit had all the cards with all the questions in it. I feel like Matty B has a box full of what thing can I be negative about on these guys' live stream today? Let's see. Okay. I don't remember anybody saying win's a win. Did you say win's a win?
I gotta see what if the Eagles or Phillies have this magic. If someone wins a championship again, I would love to see what it's like to be next to Matty B. Does he sit on top of a hill like the Grinch and just sit there with more evil? Well, they didn't do this.
I don't know. The Eagles just won a Super Bowl last year.
Happy?
I didn't see him smile once. I'm just going to point that out. The Eagles won a Super Bowl last year, and I did not see him smile once.
I guess that Howie Roseman poster is not going up in his room no time soon.
No, it will not.
Okay.
Maybe we'll just sneak over his house and just and just you know his wife should dress up like Howie Roseman for Halloween and make him walk around with him.
Something's got to give with that guy. The moment they are second and 5 or less, they should at least someone no huddle. Yeah,
Yeah,
they
and
should try at least no huddle.
that's what Kevin Patullo. I don't know if this happened much last year, but a more seasoned offensive play caller might have maybe had 2 plays called in at one time. A, we're gonna do this, and then as long as we get positive yardage, we're gonna go to B. So just get right up on the line. So that would be that's what a seasoned offensive coordinator would have done. Here's A, then here's B. Just get right up on the line. We're gonna go right into this, and then as soon as this is done, if we don't get a first down, we're gonna go into B.
And of course, they're going to hit you with the tush push. That's always going to come into play when when it's called upon. But other than that, listen, at some point this was going to come where the teams are going to stack the box to take Saquon Barkley out of the equation, and Jalen Hurts is going to have to beat you with his arm. He's going to have to beat you with his legs, and Jalen sometimes does. I don't think he has the necessary arm strength to make the deep bombs, but he makes it good enough where a Devontae Smith or an A.J. Brown won't get open. And, of course, you saw the major big play of Dallas Goedert being over the middle. That helped this team out with their win last week. Again, I think they could do some damage in Tampa. I don't think this heat nonsense or anything else is going to – I think the Birds win clear today. And, I thought their toughest opponent was last week. It was shown that in the first half. Again, it's a history thing. I think it's going to change that. I think the Birds win convincingly today. Let's go 24-20 win Birds.
All right. I think they're going to struggle a little bit in the beginning. Not too much, but I think they will struggle in the beginning. I think they have to see what Todd Bowles is going to throw at them. I am not as worried about Baker Mayfield as some people worry about Baker Mayfield. Not saying you shouldn't worry about him. That's what I want to make sure that's abundantly clear. But at the same time, I think Baker Mayfield gets more. He gets more love than he should for a guy who, they make the playoffs because they're in a weak division. You know what I mean? You put Tampa Bay in any other, in a more competitive division. Are we all excited about Baker Mayfield as much as I'm not trying to be a hater. I just don't.
It is what it is.
I don't understand the love as much as everybody gives Baker Mayfield. Did he have a turnaround since he went from what's it called?
Cleveland.
He went from Cleveland. But sure, great, grand, wonderful for him. But my point is, I think he can be a dangerous guy because he does have that playmaking ability at times. So I'm not taking that away from him, but at the same time, I'm like, it's not a fear I have of him either. So with that all being said, so I think this is going to be close game. You got 2 3-0 teams battling this out. It's not going to be a simple task, but I still think it's 28-21 Eagles. I'm going to go with that.
There you go. And now, since we said the Eagles are going to win, Matty B's probably behind his phone or keyboard, just veins popping through his forehead, more gray hairs coming off the top. So, again, but anyway, we got the Birds winning. That's good. It's gravy. Again, must-watch game. Both teams are 3-0, so someone's going to get into the L column today between the two teams, whether there's the Eagles or the Buccaneers. Somebody's going to fall today. Great start, though. So, again, the Eagles today, big challenge. I like it. You like it. So now, Al, the number one question before I got to ask you meal of the day. Al, what's going again, we got guys, again, today we have actually they started early, but they will have a Steelers post-game show for you with the Steel City Sports. Our guy John Phillips, radio legend out there in Pittsburgh, and now part of the It's a Wrap Sports. He's going to have you for post game coverage with with Will Akins. Guys, again, stay tuned. We have more Pittsburgh coverage again. Wednesdays at 8 o'clock, we have the Pittsburgh Sports Desk with Will Akins, Ed Quinn, and Tracy. Those guys do a great job. And, of course, we have Gridiron Weekly every Thursday at 8 o'clock. And then, of course, today we have Phillies post-game coverage with Matty B. Yes, the fighting finals. Matty B's got you covered. And then he's got you covered tonight at 10 o'clock for all you night owls who want to talk Philly sports. He'll be reacting to his Eagles and Phillies. So
all positive, sunshiny rainbows.
Yes. And
just happy to be here, Matty B. Just smiling from ear to ear.
Yeah, smiling from heaven.
And by the way, if you ever get a chance to meet Matty B in the wild, just give the man a hug. He loves when random people he doesn't even know really well hugs him. Just
yes.
If you see him, just embrace him. Whisper in his ear, man, I love you. It's okay. They can't hurt you anymore.
And Howie loves you too. But
and that tell him that comes directly from Howie Roseman's mouth.
Yes. And then of course today we have the Eagles post-game show. We have that going on for you today too. So again, you guys who want to react to what you just saw, Steve Finentes, my tag team partner on Thursday nights, has you covered. Again, Steve Finentes and myself, Thursdays, 9 o'clock, talking all, everything sock as far as Union with a big win yesterday, putting a touchdown on DC. Guys, will be reacting that, going into the postseason for the Union. And of course, we just saw yesterday, the Penn State, the Happy Valley Huddle. Well, there's nothing really happy from last night. Mike Lauer does a great job. Mad as a hornet. I don't think he's back from the hospital with his blood pressure. We got that going on. Every Penn State post-game show, Mike Lauer has you covered. And of course, Mike Lauer has you parlays, pop clocks, and all that stuff. For all you gambling heads out there, he's got you covered for that. And I think I've covered everything as far as this network. But again, guys, we're always adding content, great shows here. Guys, stick around. Again, we're about to get out of here. Al, question of the day. What's going on? What's your meal of the day?
I actually may take one out of the Gobbler's cookbook of I Only Eat Pasta cookbook by Pat Bernard.
Okay. Yes.
But either I'm making a homemade lasagna,
Ooh.
or we're going to do a casserole. I haven't decided yet. Haven't made the final decision
homemade
yet.
Lasagna. That's not bad. That's actually a good pull by you. We're going to think outside the box today. We're probably going to have to go ravioli or something.
Oh, is it from outside the box to the frozen bag in the freezer? Is that how that means? Outside the box of pasta to the bag of pasta?
Yeah. I mean, that'll probably be on the menu as well.
All right. Well, for Pat Bernard, I'm Big Al. Mike Lara will be probably back next week outside of anything crazy happening. We will see you guys next time. Go Birds, go Phils, and have a great morning and great afternoon. And stay tuned to the It's a Wrap Sports Network for a lot more. You got like Pat said, Phillies post game, Steelers post game, and the always positive, always glowing, always just endearing.
Huh?
What?
Look at this. We're having wings.
There you go.
Fries.
Good man. Yeah, I actually want to make some smoked wings, but I didn't have time for that today. Chicken cutlet provolone. Oh wait, is that a sandwich, or are you just having the cutlet and provolone? That's an important thing, because if you need some sautéed broccoli and broccoli rabe or spinach. There he goes, and the broccoli rabe. That's my man. There you go, Noons. Bring it on. Other than that, guys.
Oh, now I'm gonna make me want to eat.
Yeah, well, that and breathing. Other than that, guys, have a great one. Enjoy, chew your food better than Pat does. Have a great day. See you guys next time.